So Netflix has a new show, Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft. And as someone who loves Angelina Jolie and loves Tomb Raider and loves Lara Croft from the films all the way back to the pixelated pointy version of Lara Croft, I love that we are now getting a new fresh take on the adventures and the world and the mysteries and the knowledge that is Lara Croft. And I love that this particular show has done a beautiful service in that they're making it a little bit grittier. And when I say a little bit grittier, it's a lot grittier. I can't remember. It's been a few years since I played the video games, but I can't remember this much gore, blood, massacre, and real zoom in on the end of lifing of characters as this show does. And I get that it's Netflix, and so we're really pushing the envelopes with Netflix because it's Netflix and we can. But man, did they really give us a raw and gripping adventure in Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft. But before I really get into that, let's break down a little bit of history about who Lara Croft is, and then talk about what the show is, and then talk about my impressions of the show. Because again, this whole series is about my opinions on these shows, and also giving you guys some knowledge and some background as to why I came up to these decisions. So without further ado, let's talk about who Lara Croft is. So Lara Croft made her debut in 1996 with the game Tomb Raider, developed by Core Design. But her character was actually inspired by a combination of different influences. The creators wanted to break the mold of the traditional characters that they were seeing on screen, and thus Lara was born, a strong, adventurous, and intelligent archaeologist. The original Tomb Raider set the stage for Lara's iconic status. Players traverse ancient tombs and treacherous landscapes, battling mythical creatures and solving really intricate puzzles. But it was more than just a treasure hunting game. It was about uncovering the mysteries of lost civilizations. As the series evolved, so did Lara's story. In Tomb Raider 2, we followed her quest for the Dagger of Zan, leading her to different locations like China and Venice. And eventually, the success of the games led to 2 different movie franchises. Now, the new Netflix show, Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft, picks up after the events of the 2018 Shadow of the Tomb Raider. In this chapter, Lara, voiced by Hayley Atwell from Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, grapples with the profound loss of her mentor and father figure, Conrad Roth. She spends most of the series struggling to process this grief, isolates herself, and is taken to wandering the globe and engaging in physical confrontations, using these as a means of distraction instead of confronting her emotions and accepting the support offered by her friends, Jonah and Zip. In a very desperate attempt to sever her ties with the past, Lara decides to auction off her family's collection of artifacts. But in true form, the auction is interrupted by a mysterious figure named Charles Devereaux. And we learn that he actually shares a very similar past to Lara, having a father murdered. But during the auction, Devereaux steals a powerful artifact, prompting Lara to pursue him out of a mix of anger and intrigue. And as she follows the trail, she uncovers that the stolen item is just one element of a larger conspiracy with the potential to plunge the entire world into chaos and hell as we know it. And what ensues is a thrilling race against time and a battle between Lara and Devereaux for magical gems, essentially. All right, now my opinions on this show. I gotta admit, when I first watched this, I struggled. I couldn't sink into it, and I couldn't really figure out why I wasn't grasping this. Because when I play these games, it really does feel like an adventure that I'm a part of. It feels like I'm looking through the eyes of Lara Croft, and that's really what you want. You are learning about all these ancient civilizations, and for me, if I am learning while I am playing, I am in heaven. I love games where it feels like I'm gaining a knowledge and gaining some sort of either skill or attribute, or really just expanding what I know about the world. Even if it's a fantasy world, I love that I am learning. And so what I really enjoyed about Lara Croft is that I was always dealing in the realm of possibility. Everything that they did from all these storylines were garnered from real myths or real legends of lore from these cultures and from these civilizations that they've expanded upon and used as their own. But I have to say, I don't know, because again, you know me, I love emotion. I talk about that all the time. If you don't have emotion, I really don't fall into it. But I think the trope that I had a difficult time getting over was and I know that this is a thing for Lara. She's such an emotional person that she closes herself off and she guards herself, but I think just they drove a little bit too hard in the first few episodes of my daddy's dead and I'm sad, but I have a lot of money, and so just, I don't care. Like, money means nothing to me, but I'm still going to use the money to traverse the world, and I'm going to do it. It was a lot, and it was very heavy, and it was very first world privileged problems to have, as she's got this beautiful mansion that her friends are like, hey, you know, either do something with this or let's sell it. And then you've got all the money to do whatever you want, but like, don't just sit on this house. And it comes from, I know, a place of sorrow and sadness, but it just took me a while, and they were milking that for all it was worth. And truly, even by the middle-ish, endish, more towards the latter half, because there's only 8 episodes of this series, but as we get closer towards the end, it still was the woe of me of it all. And I was having a hard time. So I actually had to start this show 2 or 3 times in order to really push past it. And I think I ended up getting up and doing the dishes a little bit too, because I needed to keep my mind focused to keep the episodes going. But finally, once we figured out what the show was about, finding these 4 different crystals of chaos that go together, then they're like named after this, are like rage and greed, and you know, they do things to you. They're magic. Once we find these magic gems that form together like Voltron to become the ultimate bad weapon that we have to return to the deity, it became a little bit more exciting for me, because now there was a challenge, there was a mystery. But I do wish, like, I think if I was scaling this show from like 1 to 10, I would probably rank this like a soft 6. A soft 6, because I think that they relied a little bit too much on making it look like a video game. There were so many times where we saw the under camera shot of them jumping over a ledge, and I was like, wow. Like, there were moments, I think, when I first started watching the show, even the first scene, I was like, wow, I love that they made this more humanized. This is a real person having real adventures. They showed her an alligator biting her leg, and I was like, oh, like, I think that was my first jarring moment of like, oh my God, she's injured and hurt. And you saw her limping and having to take care of that, but you saw the blood running down her leg. And I was like, oh, how cool. Like, we see a woman who can fall and get hurt, and she's not a superhero. She just happens to be very strong-willed, and that in itself is power, is being so strong-willed and tough and resilient, but human. And then in the next clip, we saw her basically flying over a cliff, and I was like, all right, so a little plus and minus on both sides. But you know, at the end of the day, this is a story about friendship and what we're gonna do for friendship. And not only that, but it is about grief, and it's about healthy grief. At the beginning of the show, we saw Laura struggling with the right way to, I guess, cope with loss. And it seemed like throughout the show, she was pushing people away. And part of it wasn't her fault. It was outside forces that were manipulating the situation to make it seem like she was losing a lot more. And throughout this journey, we not only see her finding all of these gems, but we also see her finding the meaning of friendship and what it means to have people grieve alongside you and to have comfort in your friends. And I think that that was a really beautiful way to add to Lara's story, because even the Angelina Jolie versions and the video games, she always seems above her friends, and it was always this like hierarchy of intelligence and beauty and superiority and money and wealth and power and privilege. But I think that this show really humanized Lara and showed her vulnerable, showed her weak, and showed her friends, teaching her that it's okay to rely on another person. And we slowly see her adapting to, okay, it doesn't have to all be me. It doesn't have to be all on my shoulders. I like it there, and I'm okay with taking the lead, but I don't have to be alone. You know, I don't have to go on this journey alone, and I appreciated that. Overall, I think that this was fine as a show. I think that, like I said, it definitely propelled the show further, and I liked that we got to see from the pixelated version of Lara Croft all the way to this new, very heavy, forward, bloody version of Lara Croft. So overall, I really enjoyed it. Those are my impressions on this show. It's out now. There's 8 episodes. You can honestly watch it in an afternoon. It's really fun. But that's really it. Those are my thoughts on the show. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite adventure of Lara Croft is, or if you have a favorite version of her, whether it's video games or the films, drop it down in the comments below. Until then, guys, hit all the buttons, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and I will see you guys for the next one. Hasta pasta.